The AI for Good Global Summit, convened by ITU, recognizes the joint responsibility of governments, the private sector, United Nations agencies, academia, and others to ensure AI reaches its full potential while preventing and mitigating harms.
And it's a moment that calls for action. And today I'm calling on each of you to use this summit to help the world to better understand what kinds of regulations, what kinds of guardrails we need to put in place right now. So together, let's make it innovative, let's make it safe, and let's make it responsible for all. Thank you very much.
Welcome to AI for Good, the leading action-oriented, global and inclusive United Nations platform on AI. Organized by ITU, in partnership with 40 UN sister organizations, and co-convened with Switzerland. The goal of AI for Good is to identify practical applications of AI to advance the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and scale those solutions for global impact. In today's session, we're counting on you to use the live video wall feature to ask questions and post comments to help create an engaging discussion. We encourage you to stay until the end to chat, connect, ask questions, and network with our distinguished panelists and world-class AI experts in the neural network. It is now time to kick off the session and welcome our first speaker. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from me as well. I am Guilherme Martinez Roura from the International Telecommunication Union, and I would like to welcome you all for joining today's AI for Good Innovation Factory session organized by the ITU. The Innovation Factory is a program launched in 2020 under the flagship AI for Good initiative. And it originally started as an online pitching competition for all startups, but now it has been upgraded as more like an accelerator program, combining both pitching sessions and acceleration platform that will start in April 2025 until May 2025, preparing the startups for the AI for Good Global Summit 2025 in July in Geneva. And we help startups grow and scale their innovative AI solutions to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by providing them with various business opportunities, mentoring services, matchmaking with potential investors and partners, cash prizes, and more. Today, I am delighted to introduce the AI for Good Innovation Factory 2024 live pitching session as part of a global startup pitching sessions to find the most promising solutions using AI to solve sustainable development challenges. The winner of today's session will be invited to pitch at the AI for Good Innovation Factory Grand Finale during the AI for Global Summit 2025, 6th-7th of July 2025. And through the year, the winner will be supported to grow and scale up through the help of our judges, partners, startup accelerators, incubators, and more, to make sure that we can trace how AI for Good Innovation Factory startups grow and evolve and are making impact. And now, without further ado, I would like to give the floor to our esteemed moderator today. His name is Brandon Andrews. The floor is all yours, Brandon.
Thank you so much, Guillaume. So excited to be here for today's AI for Good Innovation Factory live pitching event. I am an AI founder myself. I'm co-founder of Gauge, an AI-powered market research platform. I'm also an investor, and I do casting for business shows on television where I travel the world and get to hear pitches from entrepreneurs, including many entrepreneurs using AI for everything from business transformation to efficiency to, yes, making a positive impact, including impacting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Very excited to hear the pitches from the entrepreneurs today. But first, let's meet our judges who will be asking questions and providing feedback to our incredible group of entrepreneurs. So first, Mr. Giovanni Baldassari, President at Institutio Europa IA.IT, Dr. Pascal Fung, Senior Director of AI Research at Meta, Mujan Asghari, Founder at Thousand Faces, Vera Furjansky, Founder and CEO at Veritas Ventures, and Neha Singh, Co-Founder at Traction. Judges, thank you so much for joining us today. Giovanni, maybe I'll start with you. Why did you decide to join our Innovation Factory pitching session, and what kind of potential do you see for AI?
Well, thanks for the question, Brandon. For me, it was the opportunity to see startups from a global perspective. So leveraging, let's say, the United Nations global reach. I thought that for myself, as also a fellow investor, would be interesting. And personally, I see artificial intelligence as a way of unleashing, in some ways, human beings from the traditional relationship between labor and outcome. So enabling, let's say, human beings to reach superhuman outcomes.
Right. There's no question that AI can make things more efficient, but I think the big question for humanity is what are we doing with that additional time? What are we doing with that additional capacity? And are we putting that those new resources to good use? Nia, let me go to you. You're a founder. Maybe you've done some pitches during your career as well. Any tips for the entrepreneurs that are pitching today?
No, I think I'm really excited about the time that so many people are starting up now and in the space at AI, which is like the next big wave. I think the last big wave was probably cloud, which was quite a few years back. But I'm excited at the opportunity and the timing of all the founders who are starting now. And I think just go for it. Would love to sort of hear more about what they are doing.
Yeah, incredible, incredible advice. Just go for it. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned as an entrepreneur is don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. You've got to get what you're working on out there, get the feedback, make the changes, and then go through that cycle. The quicker you can go through that, potentially the more positive potential your business is going to have. And Vera, let's end with you. You're an investor. From the investor perspective, any quick advice on what you're looking for from entrepreneurs pitching?
Thank you. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I've been part of ITU and AI for Good since I think 2018 or 19 when we met at an innovation conference. So it's really a pleasure to be back. My advice to entrepreneurs, and I've listened to a lot of pitches over my career, I think your why really matters. We want to hear what is your why? Why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? What is it, your big passion and the storytelling about it? What's the story? How will you craft it? So it's really, pitches are really storytelling, right? So how do you tell us the story that you take us with you on that journey and inspire us and in the end inspire people to put money into your business, into your passion?
Yeah, well, thanks for
Yeah.
that feedback. That's great advice, Vera. And we've got 4 startups from around the world that are ready to take us on a journey with them that are all using artificial intelligence and machine learning technology to drive revenue, but also, of course, impact the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So here's how the Innovation Factory will work today. Each business will get 5 minutes to pitch. Those 5 minutes will be followed up by 10 minutes of Q&A from our judges. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of our judges here after the first pitch. Again, we'll have 4 pitches. These businesses are pitching in alphabetical order. The first business to pitch in today's AI for Good Innovation Factory live pitching session is Culture Care Collective from the United States. Culture Care Collective, are you ready?
We're ready. Good morning.
Okay, well, when you begin pitching, we will start the clock.
Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia Arofo. I am a nurse, and I am the co-founder and CEO of SoulCare Collective. We are a Boston-based health tech company. So about 68% of people in the US have at least one unmet health-related social need. And that means for groups like recent migrants.
Apologies for jumping in, but we can't. Okay. We can't see your presentation. It's jumping. It goes black and then back to the presentation.
Oh. Apologies there. Let me stop sharing. Let's see. Are you all able to see that?
Yeah, I can see that now. Thanks a lot, Cynthia.
Perfect. Let's get restarted.
Yep. And again, just whenever you start the pitch, we will start the clock. Thanks.
Perfect. All right. Hello again. My name is Cynthia Arofo. I'm a nurse, and I'm the co-founder of SoulCare Collective, and we are a Boston-based health tech company. So about 68% of people in the US have at least one unmet social need. And that means for some groups like recent migrants to the country and those with socioeconomic challenges, things like your zip code can determine how healthy you are. These needs are made more complex while trying to navigate health and social resources to stay healthy. And coupled with the challenges of a broken healthcare system, there are several roadblocks in seeking care, including limited health literacy and a severe healthcare worker shortage. And doctors, nurses, and social workers often cannot meet the needs of their patients. And though this pains me personally as a nurse, it's costing all of us about $238 billion in inefficiencies in care in the US annually. It's time we take a community approach to this problem. SoulCare Collective is a care coordination solution that helps healthcare organizations connect patients to health and social resources in their community. Whether that's getting connected to our own team of community health workers or finding healthy resources, we bridge gaps for healthcare staff through streamlined access to health information and resources. We seamlessly integrate our platform and concierge CHWs to address care gaps without disruptions to clinical flow, thereby unburdening already strained healthcare resources. Our platform offers two-way communication and care coordination between health staff that provide care navigation or our CHWs and patients. We call that dual interface. So together they can access health content, set goals for health and social well-being, access health services and resources, and document and track health status and progress. So AI for us is not merely a chatbot. We're putting the power of AI in the hands of a skilled navigator. Our Smart Navigator function not only provides community health workers and other allied health staff access to resources, but also helps answer questions about health and social services topics tailored to the patient's culture and background. This, in line with SDG 3, helps to increase health literacy and improve disease self-management skill for all. We create a dual impact for the health organizations and the patients that use our platform. Our connections help patients spend less time searching for resources to be healthy and more time just being healthy. With more knowledge and healthy connections, patients will use health services more efficiently, thereby reducing costly healthcare overutilization. This translates to cost savings for health organizations. And health staff at the systems level also finally be able to streamline their referrals to external health resources, reducing their administrative burden and increasing their capacity to manage patients' health, all within compliance. With the option to integrate our team of community health workers, health staff can be supported by trusted team members who literally and figuratively speak the language of the patients they serve. And as a nurse, I know how valuable this will be. We've made traction in the university health services market and have expanded to chronic care management market valued at $7.6 billion globally with a sizable growth rate. And even at 1.5% capture, we estimate an obtainable market size of $114 million US. We employ a B2B2C SaaS model with our healthcare organization customers on a subscription-based model. We offer tiered services charging per patient per month at a rate starting at $10 based on the tier and provide the resources to patients for free. In the US, our services are supported by reimbursable billing codes, enabling payment for our services and a healthy return on investment. We implemented our solution in several institutions and are on track to scale to multiple customer types. To do this, we'll continue to push our tiered offerings to our early adopters, sharing findings through our dissemination partner, the National Association of Community Health Workers. We'll expand to major ACOs, insurances, and Medicare at large, and eventually to global institutions with the goal of becoming the central hub for bridging gaps in SDOH care. We intend to scale our AI offerings to close loops through automated connections to services, eventually operating on its own as the model advances in precision and accuracy. Culture Care Collective was created through an ideally matched partnership between a nurse and an engineer, united by our roots in West Africa and appreciation for community health in the US and globally. We're guided by strategic advisors with years of industry and commercialization and success. We're grateful to bring the value of community to our life's work and to the solution, and now to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Cynthia and Culture Care Collective. I know it's not easy being the first business to pitch, but you did a great job and was great to learn more about you and your business. Now let's open it up to questions from our judges. Judges, if you want to come on camera or raise your hand to be acknowledged, we'll get started with the questions. Giovanni?
Yeah, congrats to Cynthia for the presentation. So I had a question about the learning development material that you give with your platform. So what kind of material can the users access basically, or what are you looking for, let's say, to making them access?
Absolutely. What we've already created are modular learning videos based on the chronic disease or condition that the patient has. We get this information from the EMR and also from the patient's mouth. We also have disease learning in addition to social service referrals. So if we're thinking about things that could close those loops and bridge those gaps in clinical care, like housing, food, basic needs, some of the services that the doctors may not have the time to really address in the moment, we have videos to help you learn more about those conditions, the social services that may be available on a national or local level, and ensure that people are getting that health literacy to be increased. And because we know when people learn more about their disease, they're better able to manage it.
Great. Mujan?
Hi, thank you so much for your great presentation. I had a question about your expertise in AI in the team. And also maybe you could tell me a little bit more about what have you already built and achieved so far?
Absolutely. So I'll start with kind of how the AI works. So it automates the manual tasks performed by the CHW. So it increases the work efficiency and thus the capacity to serve patients. Surrounded by our advisors who have that expertise, not only in the technical side, but from the AI side now, who have worked with large learning models or LLMs. They've helped us to create personalized patient education, personalized connections to services, all leveraging that AI. And because we understand the risk of having unmatured AI, like hallucinations, we try to keep it in the hands of the CHWs. So that the interactions between the CHWs and the AI provides additional data points for us to train the model on.
And when did you start?
Sorry?
When did you start the company?
In 2022.
Okay.
Officially founded.
Thanks, Mujan. Questions from other judges?
Well, so how are you training the model?
Absolutely. So how we train the model is, again, using those interactions between the CHW and the AI. So if the CHW has a task for the AI to help them get connected to, say, in Boston, some of the healthy food resources in the area, maybe that be a food pantry, whether that be SNAP benefits, that is a national federal benefit that our patients can get connected to. We make sure that the CHW is kind of using the AI almost like a co-pilot, a buddy to help streamline those connections to those services. So when what we're intending to do is make the community health workers' lives easier by connecting those services. And as the model begins to mature and advance, we'll definitely include that automated resource finding where it would act kind of siloed with making sure that people are getting connected to those resources without being burdened by staffing shortages that we're experiencing all across the allied health professions. And we build large data sets from the interactions from the CHW and AI so that we can increase the precision and accuracy of our resource allocation.
I guess my question was, how do you train the model with the data set? And what model do you use? I mean, how do you even train the data model with the data set? Do you have your own machine, your own GPU farm? How do you do that? What AI model do you use?
The AI
You
model
mentioned,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you mentioned LLM. What do you use? What model do you use?
The AI model that we're using is Mistral, that we're working as operating on our LLM. And that's already kind of preset to make sure that it's not standing alone as like a chatbot function that would circumvent some of those issues that specific patients may have. So if they're having concerns about behavioral health, if they're having concerns about some of the social services that they may not have been able to get connected to, that already out of the box was such a great model, but with our large data sets, we're able to train it specifically on social services that bridge those gaps in care. And we run it in GPUs.
So you train Mistral model with your data set in-house?
Yes.
That costs a lot of, doesn't that cost a lot of GPUs? It's a huge cost.
It does, but it's not to the extent that it's a severe cost that outweighs the benefits, because we know that those service connections start to become a lot more tailored and streamlined.
So how big is your data set?
My CTO can definitely speak a little bit more to that, but I'll definitely get back to you on that.
Okay.
Thanks, Pascal. Anything else from our judges before we close out questions?
Yes,
I had just one
so-
question.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Cynthia. I love that you mentioned that you're a nurse as well. I think this is this really adds to to your presentation, also your story, and it's good for us to have the context. So thank you for that. Oops, where are you there? I maybe I missed it, but I wasn't clear. Is this the first round you're raising? How much are you raising, or what do you plan to do with the money?
Absolutely. So that will help us reach our seed round goal of raising $1 million US to be able to increase the platform enhancements and continue to train the model. So right now we're within our seed round round.
So have you been bootstrapping so far, and you're raising the first round, the seed round now?
We've raised enough pre-seed to be able to begin operations, which has been great for us. And the rest has been through bootstrapping. So this would help us with reaching our seed round goals.
Mm-hmm. And you're operational in the US so far. When do you plan to expand to? I mean, do you plan to expand to other parts of the world?
We do. So the global institutions that we wanted with our goal of becoming
East Africa.
Oh, I don't know if I lost you.
I can hear you. I'm still here.
Perfect. All right. So we intend to scale to global institutions, including the international institutions that would be able to help patients to really get connected to services in different countries and regions. And we intend to do that within the next 2 years.
Great. We have time for one more quick question, Nia, if you have anything.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Cynthia.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. I just want to check like how many customers do you work with? How has that growth been?
Yeah, so we have worked with a few CBOs at university, and we're currently in contracts with an ACO to implement within the southern United States to implement our solution either through our community health workers or through our tech or a combination of both. And where we've seen a lot of success has really been getting the tech into specific places where CHWs are currently analog. So instead of providing the community health workers and tech together in tandem, we provide the tech to already existing CCM programs to automate some of those processes and increase their capacity to help the patients that they've already been helping. We've seen a lot of success there.
Great. Well, thank you, judges, for those questions, and thank you, Cynthia, for that great pitch. Congrats to you and your team at Culture Care Collective on what you've been able to build so far.
Thank you.
Our next business to pitch in today's Innovation Factory live pitching session is FriendnPal from Nigeria.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. As soon as you start pitching, we will start the clock.
Okay, so I'm waiting for my team to share the deck.
Okay, great. Yeah, just give it a second.
Chase. Apologies. Okay, I think I'll just have to share the deck myself.
Okay, well, we'll give you a second to pull it up, and then we'll let you take it away.
Okay, so I'll just do this myself because I can find him on the call. Share screen.
No problem. While she's doing that, Dr. Fang, I thought your question to Culture Care Collective was interesting. How do you see early stage companies managing the cost of doing training? Because you're right that doing training is resource intensive, both in terms of the power consumption, but also in terms of the money that it takes to actually get it done. How have you seen early stage companies manage that?
I think they should get AI models from companies. I think Mistral is also open source. And, I'll pitch here. Llama is open source, ML. And I think we help train the models for them, fine-tune the models for them. So Mistral might be able to do the same, like just fine-tune the models for them. Also, they have the expertise. I don't think companies, startups have the in-house expertise to actually train a model on their own data, even, and I don't think they, depends on their strategy, whether they want to have an in-house AI team to do that, or they want to focus on the business side and the customer side, doing better care. So I would suggest that they see whether Mistral can, retrain the model for them in a collaborative way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, thank you so much for that additional info. FriendnPal, if you aren't ready now, we can move on to our next company and come and give you a few more minutes if you need it.
Yes, please. I think we could move on with the next company, please.
Okay, no problem at all. We'll give you a couple of minutes to get set. Our next business to pitch in the Innovation Factory live pitching session is Rayo from Singapore. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Great.
Just Just give me a moment to share my screen.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can see that. Thank you. Okay, so I start the pitch and we will start the clock.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Yung. I'm the founder of Rayo. We're on a mission to empower millions of individuals and organizations with digital accessibility. In today's world, the internet empowers life, impacting how we learn, play, work, and connect. But for those with disabilities, it's a huge struggle. According to our research, it takes a blind user 30 minutes to study a new website, and an ADHD user up to an hour. Out of 1 billion websites online, 98% are inaccessible to over 400 million users with disability worldwide. This is larger than the entire populations of the United States, rivaling for the world's top 3 most populous country. Common issues include lacking keyboard support and text alternatives, and too complex web layout navigation. On the other hand, web inaccessibility also leads to a revenue loss of up to 7 billion each year for over 300 billion companies worldwide. In 2023, Europe faced over 4,000 web accessibility lawsuits, costing over 21 million, and that is double in the US. The situation worsened with a 17% annual increase in lawsuits, and over 50 countries all over the world, including Italy, France, etc., have committed to web accessibility laws, but these situations still persist. And that's why we created Rayo, to recreate the web accessibility for everyone using AI. Rayo enables the user to search command and complete the task through speech, gesture, or text, all from one command bar. So user only have to speak commands like find a hotel in Latvia, and Rayo will handle the rest. Next, we simplified the web browsing with adaptive UI. It adds contextual hints and descriptive labels to guide the user when the aerial labels are missing, and streamline busy pages by breaking down complex languages and summarizing text, hiding non-essential elements, and making the information more easier to process for users. We reduce cognitive overload and ensure the task completion by automation repetitive tasks like form filing and date selections. So if a user gets stuck, our AI will step in to interact with the menus and confirm actions, minimizing the effort and making navigation smooth and interruption-free. Furthermore, we also integrate with digital tools and detect the user's behavior pattern for workflow automation. On top of those, we also offer real-time feedback to the webmaster from browsing and behavior data through our web API integration. And for company and developers, it means they can streamline the process by cutting out the costly audit and focus on what truly matters. Our vision is to create a world where everyone, regardless of ability, can experience the web seamlessly. We're launching with a B2C freemium model with a $4 monthly subscription, so equal to Southeast Asian boba tea expense. And from there, we'll expand to the enterprise solutions, partnering with e-commerce and eventually integrating with the OS level assistant. Our competitive advantage lies in the high level of automation combined with strong personalization, cater for disability needs. So unlike traditional solution or the basic buttons or Copilot, we leverage AI to automate the accessibility task while also delivering tailored user experience that adapt to the individual disability needs. Our opportunities is huge, with the total addressable market value at $81 billion and with a 17% annual increase. While still in beta, we already gained more than 3,000 waitlist signups, 35 partners in 10 countries, and we're also recognized by United Nations SCAP and governments in Estonia and China. Partnership is key to our go-to-market, while we also leverage incentivized and referral programs for the network effect. The year 24, we focus mainly on R&D and pilot test, mainly in the education, online publishing, and public sectors, to gain the insight in the market and refine our product. Next year, we aim to gain the product market fit by securing the first 100 paid customer post-launch and If things go well, with the current network we have, we are confident to scale up in year 26. And to nail this milestone, we're also looking for partners for our distribution and research. Our team's currently a diverse mix of people with and without the disabilities, so we really get these pain points on a personal level. I've got a background working with global startups, and my teammates bring solid AI research expertise and operations. We have both faced the challenges of living with disability ourselves, and we believe there's no better time to tackle this challenge, given the key differentiator in the breakthrough technology, underserved market needs, affordable pricing for everyone, founding team with the strong expertise and understanding, ready customer-based network, and the increasing trend of the web inclusion across the world. Thank you.
Thank you for that great pitch, and love seeing all 5 of these SDGs mentioned here in your pitch deck. Now we'll move on with questions from our judges. Judges, if you want to come off mute and come on camera, raise your hand, and we'll get started with the questions. Okay, Giovanni.
Thanks for our presentation. So I was asking myself how you're planning to building up, let's say, some ways your moat as usage passes. So of course, you know, you have a competitive let's say competitive landscape you pictured before. So what is your plan as your solution becomes more and more used to build up, you know, a moat from your competitors?
May I rephrase your question? Do you mean that how do we differentiate ourselves with the competitors, is it?
I mean, do you have some kind of feedback loop incorporated in your solution? So basically, as users, you know, you learn something about the users, of course, as time passes. And so how do you, like, say, build this feedback loop in your model, basically?
Understood. So before we start up, we started with market research using qualitative data and quantitative data through surveys and the interviews with our user. And along with that, during our R&D, while we launched the pilot test, we launched it with very small group of users, so less than 40 users, to test our product and to give us feedback internally so that we can revise our feature and also the offerings to the user. And for the models, we plan to use the data from the user behavior. So like browsing data, historical browsing records, and things like that to use as a database to fine tune our model.
Thanks for that. Other questions from our judges?
Hi, Jen. I just had one question. How big is the team right now?
Our team is quite small, actually, less than 5 people. Actually, it's only 4 people. Myself is working full-time on this, and my teammates are both working part-time and full-time on this. And alongside that, we also have, we also have like a group of advisors who work with us on a cohort-based basis. So basically to give us the feedback on our direction, strategy, and also on our technology adoption.
Thanks a lot.
Great. Any other questions for our judges before we close out the QA period? Oh, I see you, Mujan. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for your pitch. Great job. I was wondering about your fundraising plans and how have you been so far financing it?
Good question. So last year we gained the pre-seed funding from Antler and a couple of competition prizes from startup competition. Right now we are planning to raise some grants of around 820K. And most of them are non-dilutive fundings.
Okay, and one question about your team. You said you're working full-time. Is everybody else working full-time, or you're working with part-time also team members, which is totally fine, just curious.
Yep. Myself's working full-time on this. Other than that, I also have another AI researcher working full-time, our engineers working full-time. We have one operator who's working part-time with us, and other than that, our 3 advisor also working part-time.
Thanks for that answer. Vera, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Duncan. Congratulations on securing the Antler funding. That's definitely already a great mark for you to see that that you are on the right path. You know, I'd like to hear from you. If you could really dream big, what is the vision you have for Rayo? What do you want to see it in a few years from now? What's your big dream with it?
Does it has to be in terms of number or just a vision?
No, just describe this big vision. What do you see, Rayo? How do you see this contributing to the, you know, to humanity?
If I am allowed to dream, then probably in the next 5 years, nobody else with disabilities will have any struggle browsing the website. And probably they don't have to struggle with the online opportunities, so like jobs, content, and etc.
Got it. Love hearing that vision. Oh, Vera, anything else from you?
No, I think we're out of time now, but thank you, Dong. This is a wonderful vision.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you to Rayo for that great pitch, and we are halfway done with the pitches for today's Innovation Factory live pitching session. For our next pitch, we're going to go back to FriendnPal from Nigeria. FriendnPal, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Do you need a sec for your presentation?
He's on the call now.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, so he will present. So he'll, yes.
Got it.
Okay.
We see that. Mm-hmm.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Esther Ruche, and I'm the founder of FriendnPal. In many African communities or African homes, mental health is seen as a taboo, where we believe that prayers could resolve mental health issues, right? My journey to FriendnPal started from a personal tragedy. Years back, I had a brother with disability, autism, and I also had my mother. I lost my mother to depression after the death of my brother. Also, mental health is often inaccessible, stigmatized, and underfunded, leading to devastating outcomes like addiction, social exclusion, as well as suicide. And what FriendnPal is doing is we are closing this gap by offering personalized, anonymous, and accessible mental health support in multiple African languages, curbing the stigma attached to mental health in Africa, where I come from. The core of what we're doing is we're building large language models that is tailored specifically to the African community or cultural context. And currently, with the increasing mobile phone penetration in Africa, the African mental health market is a $50 billion market opportunity, and it's projected to grow at least 5 times in the next 5 years. And our goal is to capture just 10% of this undeserved market. Currently, we run a B2B and a B2C market model that offers basic services for free, while premium features such as therapy, rant room, personalized wellness are actually available for paid subscriptions. We also generate revenue by collaborating with government, NGOs, corporate partners through our EAP programs, which is employee assistance programs. And in over 9 months of launch, we've been able to onboard over 3,000 users across our platforms. We've been able to also conduct over 5,000 therapy sessions. We've also been able to grow our revenue from $0 to over $10,000 in just 10 months of launch. And the most exciting thing is that we've also been able to raise our pre-seed funding of over $200,000 in 10 months of launch. And currently, we're looking to raise at least another $500,000 to refine our technology, expand to new markets in Africa, and also build our team. Our team includes individuals who has expertise, over 10 years of expertise in mental health, artificial intelligence, technology, and community development as well. So aside this, FriendnPal has also been able to close top partnerships with top banks in Africa, like the Fidelity Bank, the GT. We've also partners with the Nigerian Red Cross, UNDP. We are currently the strategic partners to the Lagos State Government, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, and several other amazing partnerships that we've also been able to gather in 10 months of launch. Thank you.
And thank you for that great pitch, and congrats on the great traction that you've been able to get so far. Okay, now we'll turn it over to our judges for questions. Judges, if you want to come on camera, raise your hand. Would love to take questions from you. Giovanni, I see you came onto camera. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so I have one quick question for the moment, then leave back to the other judges. Do you have any idea of what percentage of the population are you currently covering? I mean, from potential population in terms, for instance, of dialect that you're covering right now?
Okay, so are you talking about the African language, right? The multilingual support we do.
What do you mean most? Also, in terms, also my question is in terms like of, do you have any idea of how much of the people in need do you or you could potentially be able to serve in this moment? Like, do you have any idea of this? I can understand that it might be difficult to let's say to quantify, but
okay,
just
so
to understand.
Okay, so in Nigeria alone, it's been said that over 100 million Nigerians are said to be suffering from one mental health condition or the other. Africa is a 1.3 billion, and we're looking to capture just 30% of this population. Now, one thing that is prevalent in Africa when it comes to the mental health is the stigma, right? So what we do differently is we focus on the triggers to this mental health concerns, and that's why in order to curb the mental health stigma, FriendnPal provides anonymous support. Now, what the AI chatbot does is it augments the work of the therapist by providing round-the-clock support 24/7 in your local African dialect. Now, so that means Africans can get support at any time of the day, just like getting a therapist who never sleeps, right? And not just that, we're also bridging the gap in high cost of therapy, because a lot of Africans cannot actually afford therapy sessions, even if they want to get these therapy sessions. So the fact that they can actually get anonymous, their identities are hidden, they're getting a support body who is there and understands their local African dialect, we're able to also cater for the undeserved markets as well. And some of the functions or features we have on the platform is also can be used offline, right? So people can also, regardless of the internet connections or your mobile connections or penetrations, you're able to use the features that we have on the platform offline, outside of the internet. Yes, so that's what makes us excited. And currently, the FriendnPal is the first AI mental health app in the entirety of Africa. We're not just the AI mental health app, but we're an AI multilingual mental health app. So individuals get help in multiple African languages. And currently in Lagos State, we're quite dominant because we're the strategic partners to Lagos State government. We've worked with over 500 boys who are substance users as well, using the platform as well, and a lot of persons with disabilities as well. In 10 months, actually.
Well, thank you for that response, Esther. Dr. Funk, do you have a question?
Yeah, so how do you train your model and what does your AI do? It's a chatbot?
Sorry, I didn't get the last one.
I mean, what does your AI model do? How do you train it and what does it do? It's a chatbot? What does it do?
It's a chatbot. So we leverage open AI models and we fine-tune it to fit the African context, right? A lot of our data sets are also gathered from a whole lot of NGOs and also like a lot of communities, universities as well. The data set, the African context that we use for the AI model.
What is the African context? What do you mean?
So
I mean, it's a therapist, so OpenAI API doesn't do therapy. So what is the African context? What is the therapy? What does the chatbot do?
Okay, so what the chatbot does is it provides personalized mental health support. So it's not a therapy.
I know.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so what does that mean? Personalized mental health support. What does it mean? What does it do?
Okay, so what it does is it's a chat body, right? It's someone you could actually relate your problem to. If you're going to you wake up at the middle of the night, you need to talk to somebody, right? It's able to understand you because it's been fine-tuned to the mental health space, right? It's been on the platform.
How do you fine-tune into the mental health space?
So some of the models that we have currently are actually written by our AI experts. So if my CTO was here, he would have actually been able to give you a better a vast explanation of how it works. Yeah.
That's
so
really a core. It's really core to your business, right? I mean, I do not know of any existing technology that can do that. So it's not it's really core to your business, or you have other, I mean, do you have human therapists, or this is assistive, or this is the core of your business model?
Okay, so we have human therapies, we have communities on the platform as well. So what the AI does, it helps analyze the patterns, right? And the text that people have had, like the conversations they have on this on the chatbot, right? So the algorithms of the AI chatbot helps to predict so it moves from a conversational AI to a recommendation system, right? So it's able to how do I put it? It's able to it's just like having like a therapist, right? But a therapist who never sleeps, who understands you. It's an assistant. So we have human therapists, licensed therapists who are experts who have certifications in CBT and the likes as well. So the AI chatbot, what it does is an assistant. It actually just augments the work of the therapist. It's not a therapist as well. So based on the algorithms, the patterns, the text, it's able to move from just a conversational AI to a recommendation system for persons as well.
That's another piece of technology.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would have been more explanatory if I was in a demo. You would have seen how amazing it works, actually. Yes. So it's actually live on Play Store and iOS as well.
Do you have a video of the demo? That could be good to have it in the pitch.
So because I'm not the one sharing my screen, so it's a bit hard. So I could actually just do a demo quick one now, if that's fine. It won't take a minute.
Please.
So I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Can you see my screen? Yes. So this is the AI chatbot. So what we do with the AI chatbot is, first of all, we gave it the image of an African man, right? He's wearing a buba and an African attire. So this makes people feel more relaxed. So I have a conversation saying, I'm exhausted from work. And he says, I understand feeling exhausted after work can be draining. Chinwa, which is my username on the platform. So because it's anonymous, we don't keep personal details like your name, your phone number, and things like that as well. So it addresses me by the username, which I've been able to put up on this platform. I talked about feeling bored, and this was the responses. It's able to converse with you. It's able to also give you recommendations of what to do to make you feel a whole lot better. So another thing is so these are the conversations I've had. I talked about my boss, and I'm able to pour out my frustration. It's able to put me through and just talk to me through this conversation. So it's like an AI friend. And like I said, it just augments the work of a therapist. So I spoke to it in Yoruba, and it responded to me. Yoruba is one of the African languages as well. So this is what.
So this is all from OpenAI, right? OpenAI's chatbot.
This is not all from OpenAI. So we adopted the OpenAI model, but we fine-tuned it. So it's a whole lot of work, a whole lot of 2 years of work actually before we got to this phase actually. But we leverage OpenAI to actually build what we have currently. I don't know how to explain that.
OpenAI's model is not open, so how do you fine-tune that model? I mean, it is okay. It's okay.
Okay, so maybe I would send you a better detailed explanation by email, if that's okay. I actually have something composed for that, so I would send you a better detailed explanation about how it works and what models we use actually as well.
It sounds like a great idea to do some email follow-up. Thank you, Dr. Fung, for those questions. Mujan, I saw that you have a I saw you on camera. Do you have a quick question? We have time for one quick question before we transition.
I let Vera go ahead. I was just listening.
No,
Yeah.
Mojan, I didn't know you had your hand raised. You can go ahead if you want.
I
To
didn't
be
have my
honest,
hand raised, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, Esther, thank you so much. I don't know who was sharing the presentation on the other side, but it was so quick. It was really actually very difficult to, it was better to actually hear you than to somehow start to read the presentation. So I must say, I also have so many questions. We don't really have so much time to dive deeper into that. But I would just suggest to really practice your pitch, when you have the chance to pitch to, the UN, investors, other people, who potentially really could be your supporters and advisors, because I just have so many open questions still, and we're at the end of our time. So my really advice would be, if you work with somebody on the other side who's showing your presentation, try to practice before to align, because you have so much interesting information. We really tried to follow, but it was jumping a lot. I think you're tackling such an important issue, which is so relevant. Luckily, Giovanni asked a question where we got some numbers. So that was also, I had similar questions. You are tackling a huge issue. I really would suggest to work a bit more to, have what you say and the person showing be aligned. So you can have, so it can resonate better with people who are listening, and we can get, deeper into, deeper to the core of it. But yeah, I wish you best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. And apologies for that, actually.
No, it's all good. It just, just some advice. Because I don't know, Brandon, how much time we have, what I can actually ask questions, because I know we have to move on to the next.
Yeah, that's all the time that we're going to have. But I appreciate
unfortunately,
the
Esther,
feedback.
But you are onto something super important. So don't give up, pursue.
Thank you, and apologies once more. I was actually not with my system, so I just had to get someone to do that. So he didn't understand how to go about it, so I had to just go on.
Great. Well, thank you again to FriendnPal, and congrats on what you've been able to build so far. And I think Vera's certainly right. You are tackling a very important issue, and it sounds like there's a lot of positive potential there. Okay, so let's move to the last pitch in our AI for Good Innovation Factory live pitching session. SoulCare from Portugal. SoulCare, are you ready?
Hello, everyone. I'm ready.
Hello.
Yes.
Great. Do you need a sec to bring up your presentation?
I think so, yeah. Let's see if it works right away.
Yep.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see that now.
All right. So.
Okay, when you start pitching, we will start the clock.
Sounds great. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. My name is Otto Leonard, CEO at SoulCare. I'm joined by my COO, Pedro, who's also here today. And together with SoulCare, a digital mental health company, and we're here to talk about mental health. Like most of us here today, I myself and my co-founder have struggled with mental health in the past, be it, anxiety, stress at work, relationship issues, anything you can think of, basically, right? Because life is hard, and it's not that it should be easy, but we need some help navigating through these circumstances sometimes. And so, we found that the traditional system, the traditional way to cope it, obviously, you can have a conversation with your friend, you can have a conversation with your family, but not always do you want to share everything, right? And in a traditional way, you would go to a therapist. But there again, we found that there are many barriers actually to therapy, be it cost, availability, stigma, as was mentioned in the previous presentation. And at the end of the day, there's only 10 mental health coworkers per 100,000 people worldwide on average. And as you can see here, the WHO also says, the World Health Organization also says that depression and anxiety will be the leading health issues worldwide by 2030. So we're in front of a big, big issue, right? And so my co-founder and I went on a journey 1.5 years ago to build a platform that is, not only there for you the whole time instantaneously, but also provides a high level of quality in the mental health counseling that it does. and is based on scientifically accurate information. And so we developed SoulCare. We have been developing SoulCare. We launched an open beta 2 months ago. Been speaking to customers ever since. It's been truly a great experience. And yeah, so the main feature that we were talking about is obviously the AI therapist that we just saw in the last presentation as well. Here, we leverage OpenAI and instruct our model with natural language and make sure that it follows the pillars that we believe are important in this scenario. I'm looking forward to getting into detail soon, but that's not all we do. So we really found out that this started as a suicide prevention company actually, and there's many steps before suicide, and there's many things that we can tackle. And so we really see ourselves as a one-stop shop. As you can see here, we have a mood tracker that lets people track their moods and recognize patterns over time. A goal tracker to help set and achieve personal goals. To a smart approach that we have there as well, that we employ there. So we guide our users to set up and reach these goals. And then the knowledge is king, knowledge is power. Articles, books, and videos that are tailored to the experiences you're going through right now, right? So we recommend you, be it if you're going through depression or if you're going through loss, for example, books that are relevant to you. And we also learn what you think is most interesting and what kind of reading styles you like. And lastly, we have a Moodscape report that aggregates all the data that we gather from you. And basically gives you, actionable insights, as you can see here, the 2 examples, and also suggestions based on what you're going through. This is a weekly report, so you can see that every week. When it comes to the business model, we have a straightforward B2C revenue stream, just like in the previous presentation. So we actually charge $12.99 per month for the subscription, and we've been working with health insurance companies now in the last 2 or 3 months, actually extensively, to incorporate SoulCare into existing health insurances offerings, adding value to the offering. Sorry. Exactly. The market as a whole. These are the 3 biggest names right now in the digital mental health space. BetterHelp is the most known here. Probably everyone here knows BetterHelp. Calm and Headspace, even though they have not integrated AI into their business models yet. With a big yet, I believe they're going to do it in the future, but let's see about that. And yeah, the market as a whole. So our addressable market, we see it as 23 billion by 2030, based on this forecast by the MFR. And lastly, when it comes to the team, so this is actually my favorite part about the presentation. We're very passionate about what we do. I'd love to go into detail, but basically, I'm the CEO. We have I have my co-founder Lionel, who is also serial entrepreneur, as well as Pedro, who's also a serial entrepreneur. Inish, also a psychologist that has worked for Headspace in the past. So we've been making sure that we really have the best team on board. We're 8 people working on this, and our board of ethics, which is actually.
And that is time. Thank you.
No worries. I invite you all to sign up, and let's make the world a better place, one conversation at a time. Thank you.
Let's have questions from our judges. Feel free to come on camera and raise your hand. Mujat, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. I'm pretty familiar with basically a Calm and similar apps, and Timer also. So I was wondering, what is really your difference? I might have missed that. And what is your go-to-market strategy? If you could a little bit more describe.
Sure. 100%. So let me do it quickly. So basically, what BetterHelp does in a nutshell is they provide, people access to therapists, right? So you pay, I think it's around $200, $250, and then you have access to the therapists, and they make sure, they're tailored to you, etc. Headspace has been delving into the meditative space. So they do a lot of meditations. They have content upon mental health, etc. So they basically, in a nutshell, a big library of mental health content, and so is Calm, as you're familiar with yourself. Where we really differentiate ourselves is the integration of AI. As was mentioned in the previous presentation, the AI therapist is the main thing we do, but when it comes to our go-to-market strategy, our primary market is Germany, And because, not because just of financial reasons, but also we've been seeing that the trend there by the German government also, they have established a digital mental health directory with accredited digital mental health companies. They're accredited by the German government. And we believe, we're here at AI for Good, looking to make sure that AI is not only, that we can empower ourselves with AI, but it's only also ethically provided and it's private, etc. So I think when it comes to our strategy, we really believe in making sure we work closely with regulators and these institutions that I said, and really integrate ourselves from that perspective.
Thank you. So just concretely about the product's functionality, you're mentioning that you're focused mostly on the AI therapies. I'm sure Pascal also will ask me the same, but what is basically your model, or what is this AI part that you are working on more, and that's your main value prop?
Yeah, great question. So again, I think I tried to explain it briefly, but I'll try to do it again. So what we do is we leverage OpenAI's model, right? And what's proprietary to us is the way that we instruct it in natural language. We have an expert here on the board of jurors that probably will ask a question soon. But there's a thing called chain of thought, and what we employ is emotional chain of thought. So basically, usually when you're speaking to ChatGPT, you ask a question and you get an answer. No one really knows what happens on the other side, but you get an answer, and we're happy with that. What we do is we basically have a filter between OpenAI and SoulCare, and that filters the emotional chain of thought, which are, I believe, 5 or 6 instances. I believe 6. Yeah, sorry, 6 instances of questions that reinforce the AI to think about certain aspects of the answer it's going to give in an emotional chain of thought. So, for example, you can think of the emotion that's behind the question, that it's non-judgmental. The answer that gives has to be non-judgmental, et cetera, et cetera. So it's basically a workflow of questions. And that's basically called emotional chain of thought. But you can look that up. That's not proprietary to us, and that's what we do. That's kind of our secret sauce here.
Okay, and do you mind to explain the go-to-market strategy just very briefly? Yeah.
Sure.
And I'll pass it to others.
Sure. So as I mentioned, first of all, we're a bootstrap company, right? We haven't raised a single euro until now, and so we really made sure we launched open beta as soon as we could. We've been gathering a lot of customer feedback in the last months. And our go-to-market is we've been accepted to Web Summit. I mean, Web Summit, you guys probably know, is the biggest tech event in the world in the Impact initiative from Web Summit. And so we're going to use that to kind of propel our go-to-market strategy. We're launching the newest version of SoulCare with speech-to-speech and a couple other features during Web Summit. And we're already in talks with, to be honest with you, countless reporters that want to speak about this. So that's kind of the business side. And obviously, I didn't mention this, but my co-founder and we both work for Google, Google Ads in specific. So we're just waiting to start our paid campaigns as well. Also putting a lot of emphasis on SEO since we're a small business. And yeah, that's just for the next 3, 4, 5 months. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to be at the Web Summit, so maybe we can catch up.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make sure I know your name. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Let's see. Vera, looks like your hand is raised, and then we'll go to Dr. Fung after.
No, I think Pascal was before me, so I'll wait.
Okay, Dr. Fung, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I'm really happy to see that you have thank you for the presentation. I'm really happy to see that you have an ethics board. And it is very important for applications like this. But I still want to know, well, you mentioned emotional chain of thought, but how do you ensure your chatbot, so your AI model is safe? We've seen in news where we know these models today still hallucinates, and despite our best effort, they're not perfect. So how do you ensure that they are safe?
I agree 100%. And I think it's actually the biggest issue from this market as a whole, I would say. To answer your question, we've been thinking about it since the beginning. As I mentioned, this platform actually started as a suicide prevention platform. So you can think, how much we cared about that in the beginning. And at the end of the day, no one, I believe no one can truly say their eye is 100% safe and won't hallucinate. We don't make that claim either. We're very transparent about that. But what we do have is, okay, my CTO will probably not be happy that I'm sharing this, but we scan the conversations and assess the severity level of the conversation. And we plan to, in future, that's why I mentioned we're working with health insurances to make sure that we can, if the severity level is assessed that it's high, so the words that are being said basically, the severity level is high, that we get, it's basically an SOS message, and you get instructed or directed to speak to a human, namely in a suicide prevention hotline. Very recent news, you just mentioned, Dr. Fung, about suicide from a young man that was speaking to a AI therapist. And again, that's why I said when it comes to strategy, working close with regulators is really at the top of our list to make sure that these risks are mitigated. Sure.
Great response.
That is a
Vera?
big risk that's a big risk, right? Regulatory risk. It's a very big risk for startups in this area.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I want to say one thing, maybe to bring to your attention. I was at a recent convention 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was speaking to an AI regulator here in Europe, and he basically shared that they're establishing regulatory sandboxes where companies like us, SoulCare, and we will be one of these companies soon, are able to experiment and innovate, right, inside of the confinements of that sandbox. So again, working closely with regulators is the way to go, I think.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, especially if you want to operate in Europe, I think working closely with regulators is important. Well, Otto, thank you so much. This was an excellent presentation. You definitely have done some pitch training probably. So the presentation was really good. It was clear what your business model is and what you plan to do. On the competitor slide, I'm not sure Calm and Headspace are the right ones to compare yourself with. Especially as you mentioned, they're not the ones that actually deploy AI, and also they're much more on the meditation side, right? So I mean, I've been using Calm and Headspace myself as well, and it's to meditate. You are going much deeper, if I understood you correctly. If you go to your previous slide on what you actually stand for, what is SoulCare is the name, right? Of your
exactly,
of
yeah.
your
SoulCare, yeah.
Yeah, so it's mental health. So it's not just meditation. You actually have somebody, it's almost like I don't know, psychologist, or I don't know exactly which words you mentioned when you described it, but it's not a meditation app, right?
Exactly.
So just for me as an investor, it's a bit confusing when I see Calm and Headspace, as a comparison there. So I'm sure there are competitors out there, and it's totally fine to have those competitors on the list, because then you also show you've done your market research, so it's great to have your real competitors there.
Yeah.
Because that also shows what they have achieved in the market, right? And because they've done a lot. I wonder, and that was excellent to have Dr. Funk on here, and she asks, the right questions about the AI models. But I wonder, how do you, because OpenAI, if you pay the subscription, they have the coach, kind of the AI life coach. Is yours based on that?
No, so
And Otto, if we could just get a 15-second response here. We're right at time. Thank you.
I'm very sorry for that, but sure. We really take the base model. So if you want to do some research about this, if you look at custom GPTs, what we do is inside of the custom GPT environment, you can instruct it with natural language, and that's where the magic happens. That's where we put most of our work, and the secret sauce is the way that workflow works, the emotional chain of thought. Custom agent from OpenAI, emotional chain of thought. It's okay.
Well, thank you again, judges, for those great questions.
It's soft prompting. It's prompting.
Exactly. It's prompt engineering at the most basic senses. Yeah.
And thank you again to judges for those great questions and feedback. And thank you, Otto and the SoulCare team, for that great pitch. So that concludes the pitches for this AI for Good Innovation Factory Live pitching session. Now our judges will move to a room and deliberate for a few minutes. While they're doing their deliberations, I will continue to engage with our entrepreneurs and some questions about their businesses and about maybe the impact they see AI potentially making. So let's say goodbye to our judges for a second. They'll be back with a decision for us. And entrepreneurs, please come on camera and we'll go right into questions. Great. Well, great job to all of the entrepreneurs who pitched. Cynthia, I'll start with you. How did you get into artificial intelligence? Was artificial intelligence something that you were familiar with, or did it just so happen that AI was the best way to achieve the mission of your business?
Absolutely. How we got into AI is really connected to how we got into the business to start. So myself as a nurse, I got my PhD in nursing, started researching clinical integration of community health workers to help with some of those bridging the gaps in social care and social determinants of health. So from becoming just more focused on the research lens of things and continually using my nurse brain to improve models, improve the care, improve access for patients. I really wanted to make sure that, you know, the community health workers that I've learned alongside as a nurse, that I've implemented in my solution and that I really trust with this software, are able to work efficiently and increase their capacity to support patients. So we really made sure that, you know, along with our beautiful tech team, our advisors, my CTO, working to make sure that their lives are easier. So they're focused on patient care and supporting them to bridge those gaps rather than allowing staffing issues and things like that in healthcare that are currently plaguing all of the allied health services to affect patient care.
Great stuff. Otto, Pedro, let me go to you. One, I have to say, I've been to Lisbon and it's a beautiful city, and looking forward to maybe coming back and enjoying it again one day. Um, would love to hear how do you mentioned your personal story and that influencing the business that you've started. I think very often problems that we experience day to day, they make the best businesses because they're things that you're passionate about, and your proximity to the problem really gives you a unique perspective. Can you talk a little bit about how you balance your personal passion with building the business?
Oh, I think this is a great question, Brennan, and I agree with you 100%. Every day that passes, I realize more that if I didn't have that passion and a personal drive, um, I don't want to say I wouldn't be here, but it's very hard to do without it, right? And in the beginning, that was not clear. I think you also mentioned this while you framed the question. You know, it's great to start with this the passion and the personal aspect of it. I mentioned we started as a suicide prevention company because I myself was going through hard times, and it was really hard to you know to to communicate these problems. And again, you not always want to speak to a friend or family, so that's really what brought me here, and that's what makes me stay here. I'm probably one of the biggest users of the product itself. I'm looking here because you're here for me. you know, and so yeah, until this day, my co-founder, I use the product ourselves a lot personally, and so it really it's not a balance. It brings balance to me basically, right? I don't have to balance it out. It really just the fact that it came from a personal perspective um, really makes us passionate about this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's great that you've been able to identify a problem and now, build a solution that is really impacting, that has the potential to impact a lot of people, not only where you're living, but really around the world. Esther, want to come to you. You're also tackling this issue of mental health, which is incredibly important. You've had some significant traction in terms of people engaging with the product that you've built. how have you been able to manage what I would assume would be significant demand for mental health services for this kind of product with the fact that you are an early stage company and maybe have to quickly ramp up capacity? How do you balance that demand that's out there with the maybe smaller capacity that you have as an early company?
Okay, so thank you for that. So I think I would start with my journey started with a personal tragedy, right? My mother died of depression.
Wow.
And yeah, she did die of depression. Yes, and this was what prompted me in starting FriendnPal. So in being able to bridge the gap in demand for us, as what we do is our team is made up of individuals across Africa. So we have therapies from all over Africa, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Nigerians as well, and they go through like an auditing process as well, an audit process before they are audited as well. So aside that, I have major partnerships with rehabilitation centers in Nigeria. We also have like major partnerships in South Africa as well. So when we are overwhelmed, I would use the word overwhelmed, we bring in our partners into the system, right? And I think what makes it exciting is the AI helps, because the fact that how we're able to also cope the stigma is the anonymity. So a lot of Africans feel comfortable using our platforms because we don't ask for personal details. We don't ask you for your name, your email, your phone number, and things like that. And this is because of the stigma attached to mental health in Africa, where I come from. And I think another thing is the fact that we have self-help resources. For us, we focus on the triggers to mental health, because in order to be able to reach an African man, you have to tell them something. You have to give them a reason why that thing is a thing and a solution to that thing. So what we did is we looked at things like stress and how stress affects you mentally, right? For me, who live in Lagos, Nigeria, in order to get in at my workplace at 6 a.m., I have to wake up as early as 3 a.m. just to get to a workplace that I have to clock in at 8, right? And this affects you mentally as well. So we focus on these triggers. Then aside the triggers, we also have communities on our platform for rape survivors, traffic survivors, new moms, and the likes. So with these features and the offline features we have, people are able to get self-help resources as well without just tripping in for therapy. So which is how we're able to be able to bridge that gap. I just hope I answered the question you asked.
Yeah, no, that's such a great answer. One, thank you so much for sharing your personal story with your mother. Definitely know that had to be a difficult experience, but it's similar to Otto and Pedro. You've been able to take that personal experience and now create a product that is really helping other people around the continent of Africa. And yeah, being able to bridge that gap, each company has to figure out the best way to do it themselves, but it sounds like you've been able to manage it. Now I want to go back to the question that I asked Dr. Fung earlier. Artificial intelligence has so much positive potential, but it is resource intensive. And so, how have you been able to manage the cost and the resources needed to use AI to be able to create custom GPTs, to be able to do the training with, again, being in a resource constrained environment as an early stage company?
Okay, so I think that's a good one. So for us, from the very early stage, one of the things in Africa is the AI is an undersaturated market, right? So it was difficult to get AI experts at first. So what I did was I leveraged on the partnerships. I reached out to a lot of social innovators in the space already who are actually doing well. I have a mentor. I have an advisory board from Sweden. I also work for a Swedish company as well. And one of the things I would say that helped us a lot was the Microsoft for Startup Founders Hub as well. Because being a part of the Microsoft for Startup Founders, you have access to a whole lot of resources, which is inclusive of the open AI models as well. So so I was able to leverage all that to be able to build the platform to where it is today. And there was a lot of free resources I got, the APIs that we got as well. So we're able to leverage those things and fine tune the models to what we have, which is the AI space, what we're doing currently in our AI space as well. Yes. So there were a lot of resources that we use, and mentors, advisory, our advisors as well actually helped us with a lot of data sets. So a lot of the first set of data sets we got was from my advisor. He's a professor in Boston University in the US. So he helped us with the first set of data set that we did Ghana as well. Yes. And the Microsoft Versado founders actually helped with a whole lot of free resources. So we had access to these for over 1 year, right? So with these, we're able to build that, like kickstart something, and from there we just grew, and we had access to a lot of cloud credits from AWS, and I also won a lot of grants. Aside from the funding, I've won a lot of grants from the US. I'm also one of the One Young World delegates, 2024 World Summit Youth Ambassadors, and a whole lot of amazing partnerships that has helped us scale to this extent as well. Yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've been able to piece together the resources needed with credits and fellowships and grant awards to be able to make it happen. Otto and Cynthia, would love for you to chime in here as well, because I think this might be helpful for other aspiring entrepreneurs or even other current entrepreneurs that may be out there. How have you been able to manage the resources needed to be able to build with artificial intelligence, again, in a resource constrained environment as an early stage company?
Should I give my 2 cents?
Yeah, Otto, you can go ahead.
Sure.
And then
So
we'll go
I
to
think
Cynthia.
I think that's a great question, and obviously we all struggle as bootstrap businesses with that question. And when it comes to the AI itself, I believe as sorry, I forgot the name, but Dr. Fang, right?
Right, Dr. Fung.
Yeah, Dr. Fang, sorry. As you mentioned before, there are many open source models. The big AI companies, they do want us to build solutions that are custom, that go really deep in things that they're not doing, because at the end of the day, they're focusing on generative AI. And, it was mentioned that, they build some custom agents, etc. But at the end of the day, it's up to us, up to the community, up to these startup founders to really build these applications. And if you really look into it, and I believe us being here today is a testament to it, not only us, but FriendnPal and all the other companies, there are ways to, leverage AI at a low cost if you know what you're doing, if you have a straight plan, and if AI can really be of any help in the industry you're trying to target. I think that has to be assessed beforehand. And once you have a plan, you go look for the tools that are out there, and you'll be able to succeed.
I'd also like to add,
Cynthia?
as a creating Culture Care Collective as a student founder, I was in the second year of my PhD when I founded Culture Care Collective. Being able to work with my now alma mater to have student products and student projects, working to train AI models, working to not only outside of AI to be able to train some of our health content, advise on some of those things, working with their industry professors who've been able to help them along with that thing so that we're able to be helped as well. I think that's been super valuable, having that institutional partnership with either your alma mater or schools that are interested in the same thing that you are doing. So I guess that would be my advice moving forward.
Yeah, finding an alignment with an institution or an organization that you're connected to, that certainly makes a lot of sense. Now, let's talk about sustainable development a little bit. Now, we are here at the AI for Good Innovation Factory. Of course, AI for Good is the leading United Nations platform on artificial intelligence. All of you mentioned some ways that you are impacting the Sustainable Development Goals. As you think about sustainable development, what role do you think artificial intelligence could play? Otto, maybe I'll start with you. How do you see AI impacting sustainable development and the SDGs moving forward?
I think the SDGs were initially established because we have, we share some values as humans as to where we want our future to go. And as was mentioned at the beginning of this event, We really had a new revolution now when it comes to, or a new wave, if you will, as an investor, but a new revolution when it comes to AI. And so I think this revolution is global and it affects all of us at a human level. And so it's really at the core of the SDGs in that sense. And I believe in many areas, it's going to propel us forward faster than we believed before, and in innovative ways, as we've seen here with the companies that were presented. And that's it. I think it will accelerate our race.
Yeah. Esther, let's go to you. What do you think about artificial intelligence? How do you think it can impact sustainable development? And if Esther isn't there, Cynthia, we'll go to you instead. How do you think AI can impact sustainable development?
Yeah, happy to answer that. So I think we have to start with what we have and what we know. We target SDG 3, which is essentially ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being at all ages. So we want to make sure that we work with what we have. Community health workers have been truly that major bridge in between public and health systems globally because of their ability to reduce the impact of the social determinants of health and chronic illnesses globally. So we want to make sure that when we are using AI, we're using it in the hands of a skilled navigator, kind of like a compass, in the hands of a captain, rather than just kind of like pushing it out on its own before it's fully matured. So having public health workers, community health workers, nurses, doctors, allied health professions to be able to do that for us is what has helped us to make sure that AI is doing what it's intended to do, but in a responsible and safe way.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And as a quick follow-up there, Cynthia, what kind of resources do companies like yours need to be able to leverage the potential of AI in a responsible way? I know you mentioned you have healthcare practitioners and experts on your team to ensure that you don't have to manage the hallucinations or other pieces that could potentially negatively impact. But yeah, what kind of resources do companies like yours need to be able to leverage AI, but do it in a responsible way so you can actually drive some positive change?
Absolutely. The advisors, and kind of to Otto's point where he was talking with SoulCare AI, having a board of ethics to make sure that not only from, at least from our side, from the AI, it's being ethically used, but clinically we're, serving and impacting lives in a responsible way. It's very important to have those kind of advisors and board members that would help you to guide those areas. As a nurse, and AI being just very generally new for everyone, we are all learning quite a bit about it as it continues to evolve. So it's helpful to have. I've been working with it for years so far have been helping us with that model. And I think the second thing is money. We all need money in one way or the other because it is expensive, but being able to leverage some of those institutional partnerships, as I spoke to earlier, has helped to some of that cost for us. So I would encourage ways to be smart and savvy about money.
Yeah, I think those are great suggestions. And, as no matter where I go around the world meeting entrepreneurs, money is always going to be at the top of the list of needs because it's a practical thing. Pedro, would love to bring you into the conversation. I know you have a little bit more of a technical background. Cynthia covered resources in terms of financing and mentorship for early stage companies. But on the technical side, what do early stage companies like yours need to be able to fully leverage the potential that AI has?
Thank you, Brandon. Actually, I would like to add up a little bit of framework here because our team consists not only of the vision of Otto just shared with you, but also with other people like myself that come from other generations. I'm a little bit older and I'm also an investor. I've launched many companies so far, and I got really connected with the vision. And not only that, but my struggles as well. I'm really 50 at the moment, and my mental struggles are different from the ones from Gen Z. But at the same time, I connect with those struggles and with those issues. So basically, I just wanted to share this with you. This is how we we believe in this passion, and we bring the passion every day to this project. So
No, it's great to hear your personal connection to the work that you're doing. And I think it's also great that there's this intergenerational connection and that you're open to learning just like, Gen Z may be open to learning from you.
I just wanted to share this because I was actually as a judge in a different event when I heard about AI, and we connected immediately. This was 6 months ago, 8 months ago.
Wow.
I'm a partner here, and I'm fully committed in bringing this to the next level. So this is the first comment I would like to make. The second one regarding, scale ups. I've launched already some companies throughout my life, so I know the struggles, and I also agree with you when you say that just do it, just start doing. Progress is progress, no matter how small you do it, how small you achieve, step by step. And we have, of course, a very detailed plan for the next 12 to 24 months. And we are actually talking already with some very interesting funding partners. So we know what we want to do. Of course, it is a step by step. Also working alongside regulators, the Board of Ethics is very important for us. So our go-to-market strategy, to be really transparent, it will depend on what our first early stage funding phase, which will obviously end until the end of the year, we hope so, gets us. So basically, if we get the amount of funding we need at the moment, we will of course grow much faster in the first next 12 months. But we want to basically grow community and features of the platform, and these are our two main goals at the moment for the scale.
Great. Yeah, well, thank you so much again for sharing that personal connection. Thanks for the work that you're doing. And you mentioned funding. Let's take the conversation there for a second. And Otto, maybe I'll switch back to you. As you're thinking about fundraising, do you see, or maybe Pedro, I'll stick with you actually, because you've worked on several companies, so maybe you could give this perspective. As you're thinking about funding, do you need more funding or more resources to build an AI business than maybe you've needed to build some of your other businesses in the past? Or how does it compare?
It doesn't. Actually, it doesn't. To be quite transparent, we are in the midst of a digital revolution. I've launched in the past, this doesn't matter right now, but just to share a little bit of my experience, some digital projects back in the day, AR in 2011, I was the first of the few companies here in Portugal launching an AR, augmented reality business. So I know the story behind it, but AI is quite different. Okay, we are quite, we are confident that we have a small team of 8 people, and the conversations we are having at the moment with potential funding opportunities, this doesn't appear as a barrier. Okay, so we know that with a small team, we have to bet on 2 or 3 specific verticals in order to get things done. So basically, I would say the funding will majorly go to basically growing the community and also growing the features, but it's not a big team effort, I would say. So basically,
so maybe you're able to leverage.
We have everything in detail, but the return on investment is quite interesting for funders.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe you're able to leverage some of those efficiencies with AI while you're building this AI powered company that maybe keeps cost a little bit lower than they would be otherwise.
Sure. We will, of course, as Otto said, our main priority here is compliance and regulation. And this is one of the reasons why we're here as well, and why we have a board of ethics. So we are quite committed on that level, and also on the red flags issue that also Otto mentioned, during the counseling, as we position ourselves as a counseling therapeutical tool, we are betting highly on that investment as well. And so basically, yes, that would be one of the main goals of fine-tuning our product.
Got it. Cynthia, let's go to you here next on funding. How do you think about developing a fundraise for your AI company, and yeah, have you seen more resources or maybe less resources being needed compared to other companies out there?
Definitely more in terms of an AI versus a non-AI company. AI costs quite a bit to develop, maintain, and to make sure that it's precise and accurate. So we really, our two round goals are essentially for the platform enhancements, that compliance, the hosting alone that can cost so much behind AI. But what we really want to do is, again, with using the power of community to be able to have data sets that have already been acquired from social determinants of health data, to be able to train those things, to be able to use student data in similar capacities in which we are training patients or university health students, to be able to continue to train the model and make sure that cost is not necessarily a barrier as we are currently funding.
Okay. And you mentioned the data set. Um, how difficult has it been for you to obtain data, I guess, in a responsible way as you've been building the company? Has that been a barrier at all, or because of your research background, has it been easier?
Been easier, definitely, with the research background. Makes quite a few things easier. I think that with being able to have open source data sets that, I've used social determinants of health data to analyze statistics and epidemiological data, being able to just kind of like translate that into AI, platform training hasn't been such an issue for us. But we want to get it as more accurate and more relevant as the, at least in the US, the new CMS rules come out next year. So we generate that additional data from the interactions with CHWs in the model to make sure that the length or the quantity of data that we have in that open source way is not a limitation for us. So we're constantly evolving, constantly using our human helpers to be able to provide support for our automated helpers.
Got it. Got it. And Otto, same question for you. How has the process of obtaining the data you need to train, to create that custom GPT, how has that process been for you as you've been building SoulCare?
Again, great question. I think this question has been an issue and explanation from one of our competitors, and then again in my presentation. So we really leverage the OpenAI model and don't add any data to it. Basically the way the AI speaks to you and the delivery of that data, basically, out of the power of AI, that is where the secret sauce relies in. So that workflow that I was speaking about earlier, that's really the core essence of what we do, that we use that emotional chain of thought to make sure that questions and answers are empathic, not judgmental, and comply to what we believe is desirable in this space. And so again, just to make sure we actually don't because this is such a big issue, right? That's because why the question is good. We decided to go this way and put our efforts in, making sure that the answers are good and that the emotional chain of thought is in place, instead of relying on data and making sure that our model doesn't hallucinate, etc.
Yep. Yeah. And that makes complete sense. And I think it's important that, again, whether viewers are potential aspiring entrepreneurs or current entrepreneurs, to understand that there's more than one approach to be able to build something that's AI powered. You certainly can do the training, and that is resource intensive, and then there's you have to be careful to make sure you're obtaining the data in a responsible way. But there's also another approach that you've taken that I think is really important for people to understand. So appreciate that. Now, as you're thinking about moving forward with your business, it sounds like Web Summit is going to be a big opportunity for you and your company. How When you go to a big conference or a big event, is it getting on stage? Is it having a booth and doing and kind of grabbing people as they're walking by? What do you see as best way to take advantage of those big events, because those opportunities come up, and there's always a question: what's the ROI going to be for my business if I commit the time and resources to doing it?
I think Pedro's probably more suited to answer that question, but I'm going to answer it anyways. I can't speak too much of experience. I've been to big global events actually, but for the company I was employed for. So first time going for SoulCare itself, even though we've been to local events, pitch competitions, etc. But I can tell you what we're doing right now, and it's really boils down to preparation. So, um, and nowadays most events also have this. There's this health. There's the Web Summit app, and basically we can reach out to our preferred target audience. Right now we're focusing really, as I mentioned before, on journalists, investors, etc. So we really are planning ahead. Okay, when are we going to be where? Web Summit is a huge event, many satellite events, and it boils down to preparation. Right now, we have a high volume on reaching out to investors and reporters, but during the event, I think it will be kind of chaotic. So again, making sure we're prepared, and when our opportunity is presented in front of us, we take it and we know how to proceed. And that's it.
Got it. Got it. Pedro, anything to add there?
Just want to share my happiness because we are totally aligned in our speech here. Yeah, preparation is the key word. And actually this year they are announcing to be the largest event ever, 80,000 people in Lisbon next week. So it will be a complete mess. So basically preparing ahead for the event is quite important. So we are doing that. We are actually focusing. Of course, we also understand the power of brand awareness. So we will take every opportunity to raise brand awareness and raise awareness to our platform. But we are heavily focusing on establishing networking contacts within the funding community and also with partnerships for the platform. So basically prepare in advance and really be focused and harness your energy, because these type of events can be very tiresome and very intense. So you need to be really focused and prepared for what is expected to be a very starting already, because they are starting with pre-events this week. We will start tomorrow actually, and it will be a very hectic next few days. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Well, definitely wishing both of you the best, wishing you all the success as you take on Web Summit. And I know you said you are doing Web Summit Impact. Is that a competition within Web Summit, or
Actually,
is that just a kind of special distinction for
We're
companies
very
like
proud,
yours?
yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's this distinction that comes from Web Summit. We have not applied for it, so the impact program is something that Web Summit recognizes from the whole community that is registered there as a potential disruptor or potentially a scale-up company. So we are very proud to be on that group. We are getting a lot of contacts out of that as well. So basically, it is an advantage for us, and we are quite happy to be in this position at the moment. So.
Yeah, sorry. One last thing I wanted to add is because this is relevant to the event we're having right now. The Impact Initiative really focuses on the UN's SDGs, right, as we are here right now as well. So as Pedro was mentioning, there's a lot of attention, and investors and reporters and basically the whole ecosystem really sees the benefit of pursuing these SDGs and being an impact company. So we've been having a good experience when it comes to that. Yeah.
That's great. So it sounds like preparation, connecting with those contacts, and then making sure that you are taking full advantage of the opportunity once you get there day of. And congrats on that special distinction. And I'm sure that's something that a lot of other entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs who are connected to the AI for Good neural network may be interested in potentially getting if they connect with Web Summit or any. I know Web Summit has several other conferences connected to it as well. I'm sure they would be interested in connecting to that too. Cynthia, let's go back to you. Are there any big events on your radar? What are you looking to connect with over the next few months for you and your business?
Absolutely. I'll kind of go back to what you were mentioning about networking and providing some of those opportunities at conferences and past events that we've been to. Every event that we've gone to pitch, to showcase in some kind of way, present our offerings. We've been fortunate enough to not only present what we have in terms of AI and in terms of our community health workers working in tandem, but really to have connected with a global network of leaders within that space. And I think that's such an important thing that we'll continue to do as we seek out conferences and different events that have the global context, being US based, the way community health workers operate here, the way our AI is implemented is a little different and may not meet the needs of the global community. So being able to continue to ride off of the wave that we've been working at conferences, presenting, pitching there has been something that we've had a great outlook with. And we want to make sure that we're continuing to do that so we can improve our offerings.
Got it. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Looks like our judges are coming back, so we may have a decision here in just a minute. But Cynthia, to stick with you for just a second here, you mentioned building in the U.S., but wanting to offer your product to a global community. How do you balance that? Are you seeing higher demand in areas and kind of taking the product roadmap towards that higher demand in other countries, or do you look at it differently? How do you balance building in one region, but of course wanting to maybe have a global impact when it comes to offering your product?
Absolutely.
Brendan, I'm so sorry to jump in here, but we know that a few of our judges have to move on to another call, and obviously we've gone over already by almost half an hour. So it's been a difficult decision, but should we let our judges
No problem. Yeah, judges I guess, do the judges have a spokesperson that would like to speak on their behalf?
Yes, we do have Vera, if she joins us here.
Okay. Well, I don't see her on just yet, but
Yeah, she's here.
it sounds like it was a tough decision and a lot of thought went into. Well, here's Vera. Vera's coming on right now. So
Sorry, I couldn't find my personalized link. It was stressful right now.
all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming back, and it sounds like you all have a decision. So Vera, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, thank you for waiting for us. It was a really tough decision. All 4 startups were so excellent that we debated now for, well, how long did it take us? For half an hour to come to a decision. And yeah, so I want to say thank you to all the startups who participated. You're all great. You are solving super important issues in the world that are so important for in our age, with obviously AI coming and being such a big part of our lives. But we need to think of humanity and humans. How will that affect us? To Brandon, what he spoke to in the beginning. So yes, very, very heavy decision, but between us, we made the choice to announce as the winner a company called Rayo. Congratulations, Donk, and your team. Are you there?
I'm here. Thank you.
Oh. You're welcome. Are you surprised or are you excited? Are you happy? Are you emotional? How do you feel?
Feeling great. Just a little bit overwhelming. So if my face don't show something, it's just how I'm built. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, we think what you're solving needs much more attention, and we really hope that this opportunity will help you position, your company on a global platform with ITU support and our support. And yeah, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, congrats. Yes, yes. And other judges, any other judges have quick comments before we close out?
I can go.
If
Yeah, I mean, as Vera mentioned, it was a tough decision. We do believe that all of you are solving a huge issue. And we were also considering how the winning team is going to be using this opportunity to come to Switzerland and be able to pitch, and the exposure they get, and also the quality of their understanding of their business. So we took into account many different things together to come up with this decision, but we would like to be able to also give you constructive feedback one-on-one if you would like to reach out to us. We have some comments to share with you, all of you, even Rayo, like we will be happy to support you also with the feedback. So please reach out to us.
That would be great. Thank you.
Great, great. Well, thanks again to our judges. Thanks to these 4 incredible businesses for the work that you're doing and for the impact that you're making. Guillaume, any closing comments before we close out today's Innovation Factory pitching session?
No, thank you very much. On behalf of the ITU, thanks again for all the judges. It was a tough decision you have been discussing for half an hour. So thanks to all the finalists. Congratulations to the winning startup. We're definitely gonna connect you with the judges for today's session. We'll keep in touch, and we're gonna have another closed session to hear more about your business planning detail and help explore further business opportunities. So I think now it's time to close the session. So thanks everyone for joining us, to our audience as well in Geneva and beyond. And we're gonna stay in touch, and looking forward to our next Innovation Factory pitching session dedicated to robotics the first week of next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for participating in today's AI for Good session. We hope you've learned something new, innovative, and engaging in today's event. We now encourage you to continue the conversation on the live video wall in the neural network. Here you can ask questions, like and comment, share links, complete the poll, connect with interesting profiles, or speak one-on-one using the chat and video function. We invite you to explore the lobby, try the smart matching quiz, visit the virtual exhibits, poster boards, the eShop, and build your personalized AI for Good program. Let's shape the future of AI for Good.
The AI for Good Global Summit, convened by ITU, recognizes the joint responsibility of governments, the private sector, United Nations agencies, academia, and others to ensure AI reaches its full potential while preventing and mitigating harms.
And it's a moment that calls for action. And today I'm calling on each of you to use this summit to help the world to better understand what kinds of regulations, what kinds of guardrails we need to put in place right now. So together, let's make it innovative, let's make it safe, and let's make it responsible for all. Thank you very much.